Hello, my name is Christina, and I am currently working on my bachelor's degree in psychology. My long term goal is to work with elementary aged children as their counselor because I've always had a passion for helping kids work through challenges and realize their potential. Right now, I work as an elementary school art teacher, so I've had the opportunity to interact with children every day. That experience has strengthened my desire to continue working with them in a counseling setting after I complete my education. For this assignment, I interviewed a professional who is currently working as a licensed professional counselor in a private practice. One thing I found especially interesting is that she began her career as an elementary school counselor, which immediately caught my attention because that's the path that I'm seeking for myself. As we talked, she shared how God gradually led her into private practice for several reasons, and it was encouraging to hear how she trusted God's direction throughout her career. My goal during this interview was to learn more about the profession and what it looks like daily, what she enjoys most, the challenges she has faced, and what advice she would give someone like me who is preparing to enter the field. Throughout this video, I'll walk through each of the interview questions, share what I've learned from her responses, and finish with a few personal reflections about how the assignment impacted me. Okay, to begin, I'd like to introduce the professional I interviewed. Her name is Krista Olberthery, and she is a licensed professional counselor in private practice. She earned her Master's of Art degree in school counseling, which prepared her to begin her career as an elementary school counselor before eventually transitioning into private practice. Learning about Krista's background gave me much better understanding of how much education, preparation, and commitment it takes to become a counselor. It was also interesting to see that her career has evolved over time. She didn't remain in the same position throughout her career, but was willing to step into new opportunities as they came along. I thought it was encouraging because it showed me that a career doesn't have to follow one specific path to be meaningful. Sometimes our experiences build on one another and prepare us for something we never expected. I also appreciated hearing how she trusted God's leading as she made those career changes. And that reminded me that while education and experience are important, being willing to follow where God opens doors can also shape the directions of our lives. Hearing her story gave me a broader perspective on the many opportunities that exist within counseling profession and reinforced that there are several ways to make a positive impact on lives of others. One of the things she explained was everything that goes on in her day-to-day responsibilities. I think a lot of people picture counseling simply sitting down and talking with clients, but there's so much more involved. She shared that she must follow strict ethical guidelines, meet insurance requirements, keep detailed documentation, and protect each other's clients' confidentiality. Even though clients don't usually see all of that happening behind the scenes, those responsibilities are just as important because they help make sure each person receives safe, ethical, and quality service. She also talked about the importance of recognizing when a client's needs go beyond what she has been trained to handle. Instead of trying to take on every situation herself, she knows when it's best to refer someone to another professional who has more specialized training or experience. I really appreciated hearing that because it reminds me that being a good counselor isn't about having all the answers. It's about knowing your limits, continuing to learn, and always doing what's best for the client. Before this interview, I honestly hadn't realized how much responsibilities counselors had outside of actual counseling sessions. It gave me an even greater opportunity and appreciation for everything that goes into this profession and the level of trust people place into those who choose this career. One of the things that stood out to me most was that she talked about finding fulfillment within her work. She shared that more than anything, she feels blessed to be walking in obedience to where God has called her. I really connected with that because I believe our careers can always have a way to serve others and live out the gifts God has given us. It was encouraging to hear how her faith has continued to guide the decisions she made throughout her career. She also explained that counseling isn't something counselor can do for someone. Clients must be willing to participate, practice what they've learned, and put in the work between sessions. She uses different therapeutic activities to help build those skills, but lasting changes only happen when they choose to apply those tools in everyday lives. I thought that was a very important reminder because it showed me that counseling is really a partnership between the counselor and the client. She mentioned that some clients stay connected for close to 72 weeks, which gives her the opportunity to build a strong relationship with them and watch their confidence grow. She especially enjoys helping people find a healthier balance in lives and seeing the progress they make from where they have started. Hearing her describe those moments made me realize that some of the greatest rewards in counseling don't happen all at once. They come from consistently showing up, encouraging others, and celebrating small victories along the way. That was probably one of my favorite parts of the entire interview. One challenge she shared was learning how to set healthy boundaries. Since counselors spend so much time listening to people who are struggling, it's easy to become emotionally invested in what they are going through. She explained that while it's important to be compassionate and supportive, it's also important to know when to step away at the end of the day, otherwise it becomes emotionally draining over time. She also talked about the importance of making time for herself, whether that's spending time with family, resting, or doing things that help her recharge. She has learned that taking care of herself isn't selfish, it is necessary. The better she takes care of her own well-being, the better she's able to care for her clients. I really appreciated hearing that because I think a lot of people who enjoy helping others can forget to take care of themselves too. Sometimes, something else that stood out to me was what she said about empathy. She wants every client to know they are heard, understood, and cared for, but she also has to keep a healthy balance so that she doesn't carry the emotional weight of every situation home with her. I hadn't really thought about how difficult that would be until this interview. It reminded me that counseling requires both a caring heart and the wisdom to know how to protect your own emotional well-being. I think that's something I'll have to continue learning as I work towards this career. She shared that one of the ways she continues to grow professionally is by making learning a regular part of her career. She attends counseling conferences each year and completing continuing education courses online to stay up to date with changes in the field. Since counseling is always evolving, she wants to make sure she's using the most effective approaches to help people that she works with. She also told me that she intentionally pushes herself to learn new therapy models instead of staying with only what she's already familiar with. I thought that was a great mindset to have because it shows the willingness to keep improving. No matter how much experience someone has, there's always room to grow and new ways to better serve clients. That part of the interview has made me realize that a degree is only the starting point. Building a successful career in counseling takes a commitment to learn long after graduation. I hope to have the same attitude throughout my own career by continuing to develop my skills, staying informed about new research, and being open to learn from others. I think having the mindset will not only help me grow as a counselor, but also allow me to support the children and families I hope to work with one day. The last piece of advice she shared was something I think anyone going into counseling needs to hear: take care of yourself first. She explained that it's easy to spend so much time focusing on other people's needs that you forget to pay attention to your own. If you're constantly running on empty, it becomes much harder for you to be fully present for the people you're trying to help. She also stressed how important it is to make time for your family and the people who matter most because those relationships keep you grounded and provide the support you need. She encouraged me to really listen, not only to my clients, but to myself. Paying attention to my own mental, emotional, spiritual, and family life is just as important as caring for someone else. She said that there will always be new challenges, and part of growing as a counselor is learning healthy ways to manage and navigate those situations instead of allowing them to become overwhelming. I really liked her advice because it wasn't just about becoming a better counselor, but about becoming a healthier person. Taking care of yourself doesn't mean you care less about others. It allows you to be more present in your clients, your family, and the people you love. I think that's something I'll always carry with me as I continue working towards this career because I want to help others without losing sight of the importance of taking care of myself along the way. After finishing this interview, I came away with an even greater respect for the counseling profession. It gave me a much clearer picture of what counselors do every day, not just during sessions with clients, but everything that has happened behind the scenes to make sure they're providing ethical and effective care. It also reminds me that this career requires a willingness to keep learning, adapt new challenges, and take care of yourself along the way. I also enjoyed hearing how her faith has influenced the direction of her career. Listening to her talk about following God's calling and trusting Him throughout different seasons has been encouraging because it reminds me that